All right, welcome to day 39 of the 100 Days of Python Code Along With Me challenge. I'm Bill Mosley, and you can find the entire listing of the 100 Days of Python at my website, www.bmosley.com/hdp. There's also a link below in the notes for this video. Let's jump into day 39, and today I want to show you a library for Python called BeautifulSoup. And we're just going to create a basic script that demonstrates some of BeautifulSoup's capabilities. And I think you'll find that it's very, very useful if you want to process HTML pages, even pages that are live online. And for the purpose of this this demonstration, I am going to be using a live page on my website. So I'm also going to be using the requests library. So we're going to import requests first. And let's get started with that. Import requests, just like that. And also from BeautifulSoup library. So we're going to say from BS4 import BeautifulSoup, just like that. And then we will jump straight in. And the web address that I'm going to use for this website is a string, obviously. And I'm going to include the HTTPS on this, and I will keep this up for a while, but if the traffic gets too heavy, I will have to take it down. bmosley.com/test.html, and that is the string that we will be using. And just for reference, that website looks like this. So if we are looking at that page online, it's got a title, test page, it's got a heading, it's got some links, it's got an email address and link, it's got an image, and then it's got a couple of classes, or it's got a paragraph with the info class and a div that is with the ID of div. So it's got a few things that we can use to try stuff out on, basically. So let's run back to this and let's take a look. Now, in order to defeat the server, the most basic level of security on the server, we have to define a custom user agent. And rather than type that whole thing, I'm going to cheat just a little bit. And I'm going to paste this, and I'll include this in the starter code on the website, so you don't have to type it either. But just know that this sets up a fake web browser. And this is not actually a string, it's a dictionary. So I'm going to call it DI headers. And the dictionary has a key of user agent, and this is the user agent that it sets up. Basically, we're creating a Mozilla compatible web browser, and it will make sure that the web browser, or the web server rather, doesn't push back on us trying to get information from the web server. Otherwise, it'll think that it's being attacked, and we don't want that. So let's go ahead and grab the page. So I'm going to say response equals request.get, and I'm going to use the string URL, and headers equals DI headers, just like that. And that will make sure that the response from the server gets put into this variable. And we want to make sure that if we are doing well, we would not have a status code of 200. So if response.status code is not equal to 200, uh, 200 is what we get when things come back the way we're supposed to. So if it doesn't work, was an error, just like that. And then we're just going to exit, just like that. And that will end the program right there, so we don't get any errors. Now, we will put the string HTML, we will put the response dot text in there. Now, if we want to print that out at this point, just to try it out and make sure it works, we can do that. So let's print that, and that should print out the entire HTML from the web page. So let's run this and see how it goes. And there it is. There is the web page HTML. You can see paragraph with a class ID or div with an ID, the links, and so on. So good news. So far, we've been able to retrieve this web page and print out the text. So that's a good start. So now we're going to hand it over to BeautifulSoup. So let's create a soup object. So let's call it soup. And we're going to create a BeautifulSoup from the str.html. And then we're going to use the HTML parser, just like that. We have to tell BeautifulSoup which parser to use, and we're going to use HTML so that it knows what it's looking at. So let's start out with something simple. Let's print, and I'm going to comment that out so it doesn't print all the HTML. Let's start out by printing the page title. Okay, so print page title. There we go. And so we want to say if soup title. Now there isn't always a page title, right? So we have to check first to see what it is. And then if we do that, then we're going to print the page title string. So we're going to say soup title string, just like that. So it's just the string that's inside the title of the page, and else print no title. Okay, so let's try out this first thing, and there it is. The title of the page is test page. So far so good. Let's try something else, and let's get all the links. Print page links. And in this case, we are going to combine a few things, and we're going to say for link in soup.find.all, oops, not find.all, find underscore all, and we're going to be looking for all of the anchor tags. So we're going to be looking for those A tags. So for each one of those, basically, we're going to print out the href category. So we're going to say for that link, we're going to get the href attribute. And if there is an href, there isn't always. If strlink exists, then we are going to print strlink. And so this should print out all of the links for the page. Let's throw a line break in front of that. And when we run that, you can see there's the page title from before, and here are the links from the page. So very, very handy to start with. And let's try printing all of the paragraphs from that. And once again, we're going to say for paragraph in soup.find all, and we're going to be looking for the paragraph tag. And so if we say strp equals paragraph dot get underscore text, that just returns the text from each one, empty parentheses there, and we'll say if strp print strp. Let's run that and see how it works. Actually, let's provide a little bit of a page, a header for that section. So paragraphs, there we go. And if we run that, here are the 2 paragraphs. A couple more things I want to show you. I'm going to comment these out so that we don't have too much going on when we print it out. But I want to find something that is with an ID of demo. So I'm going to say demo equals soup select one, because there's only one of this, and I'm going to use the class selector, the ID selector from the CSS, and I'm going to say if demo, then we're going to print the demo text. Print demo get text. Okay, so let's run this, but let's say first print demo element, and we will throw a line break in the front of that. You can see how easy it is to drill down into exactly what we want, and I can do the same if I want the info class. So I can, it's really the exact same thing here. Info, let's say class, but instead of, let's say I want to have more than one element in a class. So if I say info, now I only have one info, so I'm going to say select soup.select, and then I'm going to say this is going to be a list. So li info, if li info, then I'm going to say for info item in li info, print info item get text. Okay, so we'll run that again. There's the demo and there's the information. Now if I had had multiple paragraphs or divs that were tagged with the info class, it would have printed all of those. So some really, really useful things that you can do. Let's do one more. I'm going to comment these out, and there's one more thing I want to show you, and that is the reading of images. Okay, so let's find all the images on this page, and there's only one. So we'll say images, and I'm going to, again, look for all of the images on the page. So I'm going to say for image in soup.find all, and we're looking for the image tag. And so for each of those images, we're going to get the image source is going to be image.get, and we're going to say the source attribute, and stralt is going to be image.get alt, and then we're going to also give it another attribute, no alt text. So if there's no alt text, it'll print that by default. So we have a key and a default. This is not required, but it does allow us to say if the alt tag doesn't exist for an image, it'll say no alt text. So now all we have to do is print these. So I'm going to say print image source str source, and then print alt text, and we will say str alt. So let's run this and see, right? And there is the image source. It gives the relative URL of the source, and it gives the alt text of the image. So if we didn't have an alt text, it would just say no alt text, but there is there, so there is alt text. And that is just a brief tour of BeautifulSoup and some of the great things you can do. All of this code will, of course, be included in the listing in case you want to copy and paste it to play around. So that's it for today, and we'll see you next time.